Yeah.
Isn't all of your tourism money is just spent on Cape Town, right?
Yeah, it's a beautiful place though. So I mean, but the thing is, it's so funny about Cape Town. You have to fly when you fly into the airport and land. You sort of the airport greets you, and it's it looks like any first world international airport. But as you fucking come out and then take the highway in order to get to Cape Town, you got to go through the Cape Flats, which are like the most derelict neighborhoods you can imagine of just like crime-ridden shit. So everyone that comes to Cape Town has to like drive through that shit before they get to the waterfront and to the money or whatever. So that tickles me every time. You're like, yeah, motherfucker, welcome to Africa, bitch. Have a quick look before you're in your 12-foot walls for the rest of your travels.
Do they have a Johannesburg tourism campaign? Like, do you remember seeing anything for Joburg? Or it was like,
no, I don't think Joburg can't have one. Fuck up. The fuck. Come see our desolate gold mines. No, I don't think I've seen a South African one. In fact, the guy that I was talking to earlier today, Robbie Collins, he was a comedian that I started with. He also opened for that Trevor.
What's that guy's name? Trev something.
So he was also. That's where kind of like. That's kind of where we became good friends through that whole scenario. And he was their fucking face of the South African tourism campaign, and they flew him over here, I think, at some point to come and do like a expats tourism campaign where they went to all the South Africans and were making fun of Australia in order to tell them to come back to South Africa, but not in like a come live here. It was like a tourism tongue-in-cheek type.
Right. Yeah,
but they were fucking, yeah, dude, I remember watching it and they were like, have you heard where they put their sausages? Have you heard where they put their sausages? In one slice of bread. In a slice of bread. What is wrong with this country? And it was things like that making, because we got boerewors. I think I've told you about boerewors before, which is like a fuck of big sausage,
round sausage, like
the spiral, and then you put a big piece of that in like a bigger than usual hot dog roll,
right?
And then you go down to Bunnings and just get a snag slapped on a fucking crusty edge of a loaf of bread with some onions and sadness.
Yeah, but you guys also drink like concentrate guava juice as a sport, and all of your meat has been dried out on a rock. So I would be making fun of Bunnings.
Yeah, so that's where the gag was. The gags were like, some of the gags were like, oh, you living in Australia now? Are you enjoying the jerky? And it was those kinds of gags at the two, and it was fascinating because he actually contacted me while they were in pre-production or whatever the fuck, to like what's Australia like, or what are the weird different things, and etc to kind of like poke fun at. So yeah, there's tourism campaigns, but I don't think they work.
But they're mainly aimed at South Africans, asking if they could please come back and visit and spend some of the money they made in another country.
Also come spend some of the money you made during apartheid and left with.
Okay, and so where were you tattooing? Because I know you obviously from
I was
South
tattooing
Africa.
in Tatooine.
And where, sorry?
Tatooine. That's a
Tatooine.
joke for Dalton.
Yep, that's a great little Star Wars joke there.
I tattooed in South Africa for like 8 years, including apprenticeships like 2 years. So like 5 or 6 years professional, whatever that means. 5 or 6 years, and I knew what I was doing. Those first 2 years, though, fuck.
Well, I was going to ask that. Like, what do you practice on for tattooing? Like, do you get pigs and stuff?
So funny. I was chatting to a South African comedian this morning. He's got a live show on Instagram that goes out at 11 p.m. South African time, and so that's like 7 a.m. Australia. So I got up early to drop off the wife and be on the show, and we were talking about the same thing on the show. So in South Africa, we have something called a car guard, right? It's a person that's supposed to, guard your car while you're in a mall or whatever. Now, obviously, Australia doesn't require that because, you don't have too many cars just disappearing out of your parking lots, but we do. So some reason this car guard thing was invented, and really it's literally, I assume, I don't know every single car guard, but I assume it's literally just a homeless guy who goes and buys a high-vis vest from like a Kmart equivalent, puts it on, and then goes out and chills out in parking lots. And then when you get out your car, he's like, hey, I'll watch your car for you. And then you're like, I don't give a fuck either way. And then you go in the shop, you go do your shit, you come out, and he's like, hey man, your car's still here. Your car's still here. and then you gotta pay the motherfucker because your car's still there. So these car guards are like fucking everywhere in South Africa, in every single parking lot. So what we used to do as tattoo artists, when I worked in a mall called the Pavilion Mall in Westville, we used to go upstairs to the parking lot and ask the car guards if they wanted free tattoos. And then we would...
This seems unethical.
Yeah, just your practice dummies are just the lower
obviously
class.
They would. Yeah, obviously.
Oh, we didn't have
obviously, we would
to,
explain.
Carcasses or anything like that, but we didn't have access to some homeless dudes at IFS upstairs.
Just the poor and mentally ill. Can I draw on you permanently?
How did you get them to hold still while they were shaking from withdrawals, Dusty?
We would obviously explain the situation to them and say that we were apprentices and, the tattoo's likely not to come out of high quality. And the guys...
Just so you know, there is a chance that this may stay in permanently.
Yeah, and the guys would be like, bro, do I look like I made some good life decisions? Put the fucking thing on me. So...
Damn. Because I've heard you talk about the car guards before, but I didn't know you used to practice tattooing on them.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, for the Australian audiences, I practice tattooing on homeless people in high-vis. I've been dropping my wife off at the train station, only the last 2 days, because she's actually been going into the office because the internet's better there, and she's got some pretty critical shit to do. So I've been dropping off and
just
traffic.
You've been making your wife catch the train during a pandemic. And you've got the car, like you just can't be fucked. There's no traffic, Dusty. I've been out there. I've gone to the supermarket. There's no one on the street, and you're like, nah, you can get the train. I'm not driving the whole 20 minutes. I'll drive 10.
It's like 7 a.m., bruh.
Like what?
It's like 7 a.m. that you gotta get.
But you're out of bed. Also, why do you need the car? What are you doing that you need the car? She can't take the car in. What is
I'm driving around the primary school that's here while it's not on. While they're on holiday, because it's the only time I'm allowed to drive around the primary school. So while they're on holiday, so that's
just taking advantage. All right, no, that's fair. Sorry. So anyway, you're making this poor woman catch the train.
What do you mean, poor woman? That lady runs fucking 8 kilometers a night. She can run to work.
That is super nice of you, dude. Yeah, just get on the train. I'm sure you won't catch anything. It'll be fine.
No, bro. If that woman dies of this COVID thing, man, that would be like a medical example, because she's the fittest person I know. So it would be. I'm almost willing to sacrifice her to the sciences to see if COVID can actually take down a fully fit
test.
African
now it's
antelope.
a cool test that you're doing.
my wife is a fully fit African antelope. She'll outrun that COVID for sure.
Sorry, but anyway, so you drop it to the train station.
Yeah, and there's no one going to work, bro. There's zero traffic, there's no nothing. So you realize no one's going to work, so no one's earning real money, disposable income. And let's face it, art is disposable income. So
Don told me he actually read that people weren't going to work on the news, so that's interesting. It's interesting that you're seeing it in real life as well. In case it was a big hoax.
No, the only place that's full of people is Cannon Hill.
Do Do you know what I actually think, Dusty, is that maybe people are still going to work, but their partners aren't dropping them at the train station to catch diseases.
Maybe that's why a train station parking lot's always quiet.
He's inadvertently found the safest place. Actually,
Not that I park, bro. I slowed down till about 18 kilometers. I'm like, roll, bitch!
I found out that the safest place during the pandemic is actually in Dalton's bedroom. It's the most isolated place in southeast Queensland.
Oh, low blow. Low blow.
And you can't get COVID for random bodily fluids sticking to the wall. So I've heard.
Well, as long as he doesn't have it, I think you're fine. But no one's ever been in there. So it's a real Schrodinger's box. Just going back to the car guard thing. What kind of tattoos were you doing on these poor people? And do any of them stand out?
Yeah, there was almost like a sheet or like a column of, they're called flash. The pictures that are on the wall, it's called flash. And so there was like a column of flash that you were allowed to choose from to tattoo on the car guard. So there were fairly small, cheap tattoos that wouldn't require a lot of materials from the studio.
Okay, so you weren't having like a lot of, like crazy people coming in for their free tattoo and like they're like, no, I want to have this ridiculous thing.
No, there were small things. Like this one here is actually done by my apprentice. This little anchor.
A little anchor.
So they were that, they were no bigger than that. The apprenticeship program, you wouldn't tattoo anything really bigger than that because they didn't want to use a lot of supplies on homeless people. And
Yeah, makes sense.
You're tattooing for sport.
and
yeah,
do you have to catch them first, or did you lure them in?
you just take a little baggie of meth, jingle it,
Yep.
because you wouldn't hear what meth sounds like. Like if I had like a bag over here and I jingled it and it was full of meth, you wouldn't know.
No, but someone who loved the stuff would be like a dog whistle.
Yeah, they're like a car guard would hear that 14 kilometers away.
Yeah.
No, I mean free tattoos, Brian. These people were like, trying to be, live on the streets and shit. You need a bit of cred, so you got that kanji symbol that says bravery, bruh. I live on the streets now. Bravery in kanji, bruh.
Now, is that
street cred? I get all my ink from apprentices.
for free while I'm working my high-vis car guard job, which I made up at a mall?
I mean, they do it. If you think about it, they do it at motherfucking hospitals, dude. You go see like a fucking intern or some shit, like do a little, fucking suture up your injury or whatever. So.
Oh yeah, that's the same as hospitals. You're right. That's what happens at hospitals.
Yeah, what did I say? My medical thing took about a month. They were in there for like 8 years.
Yeah, but you know what they're not doing in hospitals? Like luring the homeless guy who started working in the parking lot into the hospital so they can break one of his bones and then put it back together because he needs to practice casting. No, it's fine. We're just going to dislocate your knee very briefly.
Speaking of casting, that's how we got there. We put a bag of meth on a fishing rod.
I imagine that car guard. I mean, look, South Africa's a completely different place with a different system to what's going on here. Car guard sounds like a terrible job. To me, like having to go in and stake your own parking lot and put on high-vis. And it sounds more like extortion than it does an actual business model. Really.
Well, it 100% is. It 100% is because like I know mates who have come out of the thing and been like, bro, where's my fucking car? And they're like, so
yeah.
it's not like it's not.
They're not doing it.
Yeah, they're not
guarding.
guarding.
Just wearing a.
Exactly, they're not actually like guarding the car. But someone will go, hey, not this one. This one's mine. I got this one. They're not.
That guy didn't pay. You can take his.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Yeah. There's like a fucking running joke of that. Of like that motherfucker didn't pay. Off you go. Catch him at the next one.
But I can't. I mean, to get obviously to get that straight in people's minds. But then also, I can't imagine that's the worst South African job you can have.
Well, I don't think that falls into the job criteria, but
What
I don't know what would be.
They're not getting super.
What would be the worst job in South Africa, man?
Well, yeah, I mean that's
travel.
that's,
Being
fucking tourism, probably.
an Olympian's girlfriend probably wouldn't be too good.